listeners, Advocacy Coordinator Tatum here to say thank you for starting your day with our peerless, trusted Progress Texas podcasts. This critical midterm year, you can invest in the largest digital network for Texas progressives by becoming a monthly member for our summer drive. If you haven't joined or increased your gift yet, you can join today at the link in the show notes, and we'll thank you with union-made merch to match your values, plus a shout out on the Daily Dispatch. Thanks in advance for funding the progressive Texas you want to live in today.
Howdy, my name's Chuck Cruz. I am a retired chemical engineer in the Houston, Texas area. I live in Baytown, Texas. Progress Texas rocks. Progress Texas is the voice for the progressive community. The information that y'all provide is great and helps me stay in contact with people who have their heads screwed on correctly. I live in one of the reddest areas of Harris County, and it can feel a little lonely sometimes, so it's great to have y'all boosting my spirit.
It's Friday, August 21st, 2026, and this is the Progress Texas Daily Dispatch. Rapid response on the breaking news stories Texas progressives need to know. I'm Chris Mosier. We can't do what we do without your support. Thanks to Stacy Lawson, Jennifer Barnes, and Mark Morrison for their ongoing sustaining partnership. Much appreciated. Lots of Democratic smiles across Texas yesterday as the nonpartisan Cook Political Report announced an update of its midterm projections in which significant changes in the way they see the Lone Star State sitch are in play. Carolyn Bakil at The Hill says Cook has shifted the Texas U.S. Senate race to a toss-up and the Texas gubernatorial race from solid Republican to leans Republican, changes from this notable and reliable source that signal a national expansion of the competitive political map and opportunities for Texas Democrats in major statewide contests that this time last year might have seemed unreasonable. The U.S. Senate contest is interesting here in particular, as Democratic nominee James Talarico is shown building strong political momentum backed by positive voter approval ratings and steady and successful campaign fundraising, while Republican nominee Ken Paxton continues to drag a boat anchor with high disapproval numbers and persistent personal and legal scandals that continue to alienate moderate and mainstream conservative voters. By the way, Paxton appears to have a rather conspicuous benefactor coming to his fundraising rescue. Stephanie Coithon of the San Antonio Current says Space Karen Elon Musk is mulling a $100 million to $200 million spend to shore up lagging Republicans in the upcoming midterms, focusing heavily on Texas and likely including Paxton, who currently trails James Talarico in fundraising by a long shot, having brought in $9 million compared to Talarico's $69 million. Established GOP groups have held back their support for Paxton, who's not seen as popular or a strong candidate, even by most of his own party. And for scale here, Elon Musk's net worth is estimated to be around $870 billion at the moment. Throwing $200 million at floundering and frantic Texas Republican nominees is functionally invisible to Elon Musk's personal bottom line. It's pretty much the change in the bottom of the cup holder of his Cybertruck. Meanwhile, back to Cook. With 74 days remaining until Election Day, Sanford Nowlin at the San Antonio Current notes that the Cook Report also shows Democratic gubernatorial nominee Gina Hinojosa continuing her steady gain on Governor Greg Abbott, of whom voters express a growing discontent with a wide range of key Republican policies he's imposed upon our state, including private school vouchers, aggressive and desperate legislative redistricting, and the massive state tax incentives that have lured data centers to Texas by the hundreds. Texas isn't alone in this trend, by the way. The Cook Report sees other traditionally conservative and agricultural states like Iowa souring on Republicans too, often based on economic pressure on farmers, including rising diesel costs, higher fertilizer prices, and international trade tariffs. With those factors, plus the clear and unbridled corruption from the Trump administration, which has gotten hard for even die-hard MAGA types to ignore or dismiss, a broader national environment where Democratic candidates are increasingly challenging traditional Republican advantages has emerged. And this isn't some backwater or partisan poll. The Cook Political Report has an exceptional track record, historically predicting over 95% of races correctly in its non-toss-up categories. As we always say, this is not a reason to relax, more a reason to double down and fight like hell, all the way to Election Day. Republicans are also feeling the heat acutely here in Texas on the boondoggle and the Big Bend region. Alejandro Serrano and Gabby Birnbaum at the Texas Tribune say Republicans are now stuck between sticking up for Big Bend National Park and standing up to Donald Trump over his plans to carve access roads across the park with heavy machinery and to place vehicle barriers through parts of the pristine, iconic wilderness of Big Bend National Park and surrounding private ranch lands where vehicles are highly unlikely ever to try to go. Plans that, as you know, have sparked growing and bipartisan outrage across Texas and the country. GOP electeds are now trapped between angry constituents and a Republican president they fear crossing. In desperation, those Republicans have fired up the bullshit machine and have begun trotting out carefully calculated messaging, shifting narratives, and outright disinformation. As we pointed out, Governor Abbott made a big show of claiming to have personally forced a promise from federal authorities that, quote, no wall or fence, unquote, would be built in Big Bend, in a clear attempt to downplay the destruction that was happening as he said that. Federal agencies have framed heavy bulldozers and land clearing as simple survey work, an obviously false claim regarding bulldozers slashing through sensitive Big Bend ecosystems. Ken Paxton, who has a lot to lose by pissing off the boss at this particular moment, has kept his criticism very light and selective, referring to the Deer Leader's plans as, quote, not smart border security, unquote. And as we've talked about, the mess in the Big Bend is a Republican mess, 100% and full stop. And the only opportunity that really exists to bring those bulldozers to a full stop can be found at your neighborhood ballot box this fall. And finally, this Friday, y'all, and I hate to wrap the week on a dark one here, but this is important. You may know that we're big fans of Democrat Jon Rosenthal of Houston, nominee for the Texas Railroad Commission, and just so happens the only Jewish member of the Texas State House of Representatives. Rosenthal's race against Beau French, for his part, the only Republican statewide nominee who might be even more personally nauseating than Ken Paxton, has made the news for French's use of a textbook anti-Semitic dog whistle that looks like generic red baiting to casual observers, but signals something far more sinister to seasoned extremists. Jacob Kornblue and Hannah Feuer at the Jewish American journal The Forward report that French has been circulating an AI-generated image depicting Rosenthal inside the execution chamber of the Romanov family, overlaid with text labeling him Radical Rosenthal and as sharing traits with Marxist revolutionaries. And while it might seem like routine campaign slime, this image operates on two levels. To the untrained eye, it's standard anti-communist theater, but to those well-studied in hate tropes, invoking Bolshevik executions alongside a Jewish candidate relies directly on what's known as Judeo-Bolshevism, a century-old conspiracy theory that falsely accuses Jewish people of secretly directing communist revolutions to destroy Western Christian society. By pairing Jon Rosenthal with Romanov executioners, Beau French is tapping into a specific strain of bigotry that doesn't need to say the word Jew out loud to convey its point. Rosenthal and Jewish leaders have rightly called out this imagery is deeply disturbing, but given French's track record, including that famous Twitter poll asking his depraved followers whether Jews or Muslims were a greater threat to society, this is really no surprise. Still, top state Republicans, from Greg Abbott to Dan Patrick and on down the list, many of whom openly opposed French in the primary for a lot of these same reasons, now continue to back his candidacy without a peep of protest. Our In Progress Roundtable show will be on the radio this weekend in both Houston and San Marcos. Catch us in Houston on KPFT's HD2 channel, adjacent to 90.1 FM on Saturday night at 11:30, and on Sunday, catch In Progress on KZSM True Community Radio 104.1 FM in San Marcos at 12 noon. With your support, we hope to continue to expand our radio footprint across Texas this year. See the link in the show notes to make your tax-deductible donation to help us reach new audiences via Texas radio. This election year, you can support the real free press by investing in pro-democracy, pro-justice, progressive storytelling, delivered by Texans for Texans. Join Progress Texas this summer ahead of the midterms and become a monthly donor today, or increase your giving during our summer-sustaining donor drive. With your partnership, we can reach more independents, progressives, and young voters who must be mobilized to win elections this fall. And we'll thank you with Perks for Progress, your choice from an exclusive Resist coffee mug, a sweet Progress Texas summer koozie, and a progressive button pack. Plus, you'll get a shout-out on the Daily Dispatch like this one for our good friend Cynthia Phillips, who's been a great supporter of ours on Substack. She actually became a paid supporter on that platform, and that's awesome. Thank you, Cynthia, not only for your financial support, but also for your keen insights on Substack. Please keep those coming. That's the Progress Texas Daily Dispatch for this Friday, August 21st, 2026. Links to all these original stories can be found in our show notes. Learn more about what we do and how you can get involved at ProgressTexas.org. I'm Chris Mosier. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great day and a terrific weekend. We'll see you again here on Monday morning.